Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a recipe for you guys. I will be showing you guys how to make a delicious, very comforting ground beef and potato casserole. So if you want to learn how to make this recipe, just keep on watching. Alright you guys, so let me show you guys what you're going to need first. I hope I have everything here. I haven't made this recipe in a long time. So this recipe, I grew up eating it. It was one of my favorite casseroles that my mom would make. And she got the recipe from one of our neighbors that she was like really good friends with. I used to babysit her daughter when I was like, I must have been like 11, 12 years old, maybe 10 years old, I don't know. But I remember she gave us this recipe and it's so delicious. So you guys are going to need some potatoes. Today I'm using yellow potatoes. You can use russet potatoes, red potatoes, whatever your favorite potato is. You're going to need a pound of some ground beef. I'm using extra lean ground beef. That's just what I go for. I don't like dealing with the extra fat and grease cleanup, you know, or draining it and all that. This is optional. Growing up, my mom did not put this in the casserole, and it wasn't even in the original recipe, but I'm gonna add it today just for some health veg benefits, you know. We're gonna need an onion. We're gonna need some garlic. This is what makes the recipe. Cream of mushroom soup. Today I'm using cream of mushroom and roasted garlic. And then French onion soup. This is an absolute must. You're gonna need some cheese. We're gonna be shredding our cheese today. I'm using sharp cheese and Monterey Jack cheese. You can use only cheddar cheese. You could do pepper jack cheese, whatever kind of cheese you guys have. Go ahead and use it. It's a casserole, so you can kind of just add whatever you want to it. We're also gonna be using some milk. And I think that's it. All right, let's start cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is cut up our bell pepper. We're just gonna cut it into, we're just gonna dice it. Okay, so we have our bell pepper. Next we're going to cut up our onion. I'm gonna use about half of this. Slice and dice. Just chop it up. If you have one of those like food chopper, go ahead and use that to make it easier. I have one, but you know, this is just gonna be a simple dish. I'm just kind of like throwing it all together. I'm not quite using exact measurements. I don't really when I cook, but I just kind of go with what feels good to me that day, you know. So I'm gonna use about 3 garlic cloves. Today's just one of those days where I just want something simple to make for dinner. This is gonna be for dinner also. I just didn't feel like filming a mukbang today, so that's why you're just getting a recipe. But I will be back soon with another eating video. Okay, we're just gonna smash the garlic to get the skin off easier and then just chop it up real nice. You know what? 3 cloves of garlic was a little modest for me, so I'm gonna go with another 2. We're gonna go with 5 cloves of garlic. All right, that looks about better. You know what? I forgot to say what kind of seasoning. I think I'm just gonna go with salt and pepper today. We're gonna heat up our pan here. Oops. I can't figure out how. No. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're gonna heat up our pan. And because I'm using extra lean ground beef, I'm gonna add a little drizzle of oil in there. We are going to add in all of our veg, our onions, and our garlic. And I'm just gonna use some salt and pepper. Let these cook down for a few minutes before we add our ground beef. Alright, so while the veg is cooking, I'm going to get started on our cheese. I'm shredding my cheese. You can absolutely use pre-shredded cheese. I do that sometimes. But for casseroles, I tend to go for freshly shredded cheese. I feel like it just melts better, you know? So we're gonna do half of each of these. These are each 1 pound packages, so half a pound of cheese. And I have my handy little cheese grater thing here. Move this out of the way. My veg is still cooking. This is a handy little cheese grater. I got it off of Amazon. If I remember, I'll link it in the comment section. Cut these right down the middle so that they fit in the chute here. Try not to push too hard because it likes to get stuck. In the little chute thing, so. Go. This thing makes shredding cheese so easy and a little bit fun. We'll go back with the Monterey Jack. And the last one, make sure it gets all on the plate here. My veg is doing good. It's getting a little toasty. My pan was up a little bit high, but that's okay. I love a good charred veg. So, quite a bit of cheese. There's this little helper thing. I don't know what it's called. My little helper for the last little bit of cheese. Okay, so we're gonna come back to this veg. So it's a lot bit toasted, but that's okay. We like a good charred veg. So we're just gonna plop this in. I'm gonna use some Lowry's seasoning. This is low sodium, or less sodium, I should say. And we're just gonna brown this up. The peppers, they're like roasted peppers now because they got a little char on them. So I burnt them a little bit, but that's okay. We'll call them roasted veggies. It's hard to gauge the heat with this pan. I'm not used to cooking with gas or whatever this is. Not propane. Butane fuel, which is essentially gas. The heat is a lot more effective, so you don't need as high of a heat setting on this thing than I do on my regular stove. Okay, so we're gonna continue to brown the meat. It's not quite finished yet. While this is cooking, I'm going to rinse my potatoes. I'm probably going to use maybe half of these. This is a 5-pound bag. So I might use like maybe 2 pounds. All right, so we have our potatoes rinsed, and I forgot I was gonna add garlic powder and onion powder to this, just, you know, so the meat is, you know, pretty well seasoned. So we got some garlic powder and we have some onion powder. Just season with your heart. I don't know, it's probably like a teaspoon of each, maybe half a teaspoon. Get this all mixed in. All right, our beef is done. I'm gonna turn off the heat. And then to this, we're gonna add our soup. So first we're gonna do the cream of mushroom, and this one is with roasted garlic. You can do just regular cream of mushroom. Next we're gonna go in with the French's onion soup. Just pour that right in. And then to this, we're gonna add to the French's onion, just so we get all of that flavor. We're gonna add a can of milk. That'll help break down the saltiness of it also, because the French's onion is super salty. So is the cream of mushroom. So it'll help with the saltiness. So I'm gonna mix this until it's well combined. And again, my heat is still off. And this liquid will also help the potatoes to cook. It smells so good. And we're almost done. At this point, since we have the meat done, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Get yourself a casserole dish. Have that ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna work on our potatoes. Now you can choose whether or not you want to peel your potatoes. That's all preference. I'm not going to peel my potatoes. I have yellow potatoes and the skin is relatively thin, so I don't feel like I need to. If you have red potatoes, you know, but if I was using a russet potato, I would definitely peel the skin just because it's thicker. Yeah. So we're gonna start with, I'm gonna cut off any bad pieces. First of all, I'm just going to slice these. You want them about that thin. Hopefully it's focusing. The thicker you slice them, the longer it's gonna take to cook. And just try your best to slice them as evenly as possible, get them all uniform. If you have a mandolin slicer, that would make this job so much easier, but it's just one less dish for me to wash. I have one. I'm not feeling like washing dishes. That's why we're doing a casserole dish. Okay, so we're gonna start with 5 potatoes. I'll let you know how many I end up using. So we have our cheese, we have our potatoes, we have our meat mixture, and our casserole dish, and we're ready to assemble. I'm gonna use a ladle, and we're just gonna ladle probably about two spoons of this mixture. Also, if you have a nonstick dish, don't forget to butter your dish. Or not a nonstick dish. If you have a dish that is not nonstick, don't forget to butter or grease your dish. Okay, so we're gonna do a layer of the meat mixture, and we're going to layer in these potatoes. I'm gonna do another ladle of the soup. So we're doing about 2 ladles of the meat mixture, soup mixture per layer. Now we go in with our cheese. Try and get both cheeses. Layer of cheese, and then we go in with our second layer of potatoes. I'm only doing 2 layers. I don't want it to be too much potato. You can easily, if you have a bigger family to feed, go ahead and do more than 2 layers. I think that was about right. Well, I got some more potatoes. I think that's about right. I'm gonna go one more potato. So 6 potatoes total. Just kind of fill in any gaps. All right, and then we're just gonna dump the rest of this meat mixture on top since that was our last layer. Get all this juice in there. Spread out the meat. And then we're gonna top it with another layer of cheese. You can go as heavy or as little as you'd like. I think we're just gonna use the whole thing here. So it's about a pound of cheese and 6 medium size, small, some of them were small, medium sized potatoes. And here you have it. This is ready for the oven. And we're gonna bake this for about 30 to 45 minutes until the potatoes are cooked through and the cheese is melty and crispy on top. Look at how delicious this is, you guys. I let this cook for about 45 minutes. So now before serving, we want to let this sit for about 20 to 30 minutes to let it cool down. And as it cools, the meat and saucy mixture is going to get a little thicker because right now it's real thin and juicy. So yeah, well, I'll see you guys as soon as that happens. I have been letting this sit for 25 minutes, so we're going to dig right in, get ourselves a little, it's still pretty saucy, but that's just how I like it. It's still pretty hot. And there we go. We have our ground beef and potato casserole. Look at how cheesy and how saucy this is. Let's get ourselves a bite. Let's get a potato on there. It's still really hot. Oh my God. You guys need to try this. The potatoes will continue to absorb the liquid. And it just tastes so good. You guys really need to give this a try. Oh my God, it reminds me of when I was young. Absolutely delicious. Meat and potatoes. This meal is so comforting. You take a bite and it's just like warm and cozy feeling inside. This meal is also very affordable. Most casseroles are. Let me know if you guys try this recipe out. The sauce, so good. If you like bread and butter with your dinner, that would be amazing to like soak up this extra sauce. But most of this sauce will be absorbed by the potatoes. Thank you guys so much for watching this recipe video. I did end up giving you guys like a little mukbang at the very end here. So if you guys try this recipe out, let me know how you guys like it. This is one of my favorite casseroles to make. All right, you guys, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Leave me a comment down below. Rate this video for me. Share it with your family and friends. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and I will see you guys soon with a brand new video. Bye.